Well, hey, everybody. Good afternoon on a warm October 3rd or 4th. What's today, the 4th? 3rd?
Yep.
3rd, 4th, whatever. Man, it's kind of warm. Summer's not wanting to go away yet.
No, it's just here to make us miserable all day and sweat all day, but then the sun will go down at 7 o'clock at night, and then it'll be nicer football weather, and then you might want a jacket.
But Saturday, I guess according to Jeremy, is supposed to be like 92.
Which is so not cool.
Yeah.
Washburn and Emporia State are home.
Yeah, so Mother Nature is not wanting to let go of summer yet. But hopefully by 7 o'clock, like I said, when the sun goes down, we'll have a little bit of a breeze.
At least high school football happens at nighttime.
Thank goodness. But before you know it, we'll be wearing gloves and a scarf. And
it's true.
So
Freezing.
Hopefully you won't have to worry about that yet a little bit. But week 5 of the high school football season already, which is kind of crazy. Halfway through the season already, and got a pretty fun local matchup here for our game of the week this week.
Yeah, only 4 more weeks till playoffs, and this is going to be a good Centennial League matchup. It's kind of an old rivalry that hasn't been as competitive for the last 5 years, but it's going to be competitive tonight because these guys are 4-0.
And that's what's awesome about Topeka High. In the last couple of years have been kind of, not great for them, as we know. And this year they've played well on the road and obviously at home. A lot of Wichita schools, and this one should be fun. I know I was at this game last week. Blue Valley Northwest probably is going to be in contention for a state championship. Just watching them play, they were a fantastic team to watch. Great offense. Defense was pretty solid, too, all throughout. So Washburn Rural, don't get me wrong, they've had a pretty tough schedule in terms of teams so far in the 6A, and traveling out to Missouri, last week or 2 weeks ago now. So
I think saying they've had a pretty tough schedule is honestly kind of sugarcoating it. They've had a very tough schedule to start the season, venturing out of state, like you said, and then taking on mostly Kansas City area schools. They opened up the season with a win. They've got 3 straight losses in a row, and they want to get back to their winning ways.
Yeah, because obviously we know last year what happened. Obviously 11-0, and the team was very, very, very good.
But, Steve Bueller did say to me when I was there earlier this week, it's not going to look the same as it did last year for them, going undefeated all the way through the sub-state championship game. But when everyone in Kansas gets an automatic bid to the playoffs, it doesn't really matter how your regular season looks. It just affects your seeding. So as long as you're not the worst team in 6A, you won't be playing the number 1 team in 6A right away. You can make a postseason run. That's
a very good point. And I think if Rural, wins a couple more games, obviously, again, will help their seeding. And I think they will win a couple more games as the season goes along. But, yeah, a very tough schedule. Obviously, Blue Valley Northwest is 4-0, so obviously that proves that, again, tough competition. But John Hoytel, he's been pretty solid for them. Obviously taking over for Brandon Deweese. He had 235 yards and a touchdown. And Kellen Roth has kind of been the Titan Osborne of the new receivers, if you will, coming up. He's only a junior. He had 99 yards and a touchdown in that game. So I think they'll be fine in this game, I think. Playing a local team that Topeka High hasn't beat since 2019. I think Rural knows that, and knowing they're 4-0, meaning Topeka High. So this should be a fun matchup, I think, for both squads.
Yeah, and they're excited for it to be kind of a renewed rivalry. It hasn't been like it used to be. Topeka High of 2018, 2017, 2019. 2019 was the last time Topeka High beat Washburn Rural. So I think they're excited to have that city rivalry kind of renewed, because for the last few years we've only seen Centennial League-wise the most competitive teams being Washburn Rural, Manhattan, Junction City, and of course Hayden, but that's not really as applicable when it comes to football.
Right.
So I think Washburn's excited to finally have that city rivalry back, and it's going to be at Hummer Sports Park, so they still get to, crowd size should be pretty good on both sides.
That it should. That should be a very fun atmosphere, I think. That parking lot is going to be packed. So, Michaela, leave early so you can get a spot, because that is going to be packed. But this was another good one for Topeka High. Centennial League won 47-14 over Emporia. That was the first 4-0 start since 2015. So Jason Philbick has really taken this program to new heights so far, obviously year 1, and maybe wasn't expected to start 4-0, but hey, if you're starting 4-0, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I think what's benefited Topeka High is that they've been able to build its confidence by kind of starting slowly into the season, obviously going 4-0. It's considered starting slow when, they don't have the hardest of schedules. I think building that confidence by getting wins, no matter who you're playing, is important for a new program, because you want to build that momentum. You want to get kids excited. No one wants a brand new head coach to come in and go 0-4 to start the season. That's not going to make anyone excited. So, and when I went to practice the other day, I can say that's probably the most energized I've seen the Topeka High Trojans in 2 years that I've been here, and we've been going to their practices. They're just really excited to finally have some wins. You know, they're coming off a few one-win seasons in a row, and that's something Coach Philbick told me right before the season started was these kids were just sick of losing, and he just wanted to come in and make football fun for them again, and they all seem like they're having fun.
Well, the thing is you look at this roster, they have talent.
Yeah.
They really do. I mean, Zane Smith being at quarterback, you could see, had 191 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jaden Norman, who's been fantastic as a receiver, he's getting some D1 offers, D2 offers. Tavante Ewing's been great behind the backfield. You got Malachi Murph. So, I mean, they've had these guys on the roster, and it's nice to see them finally kind of break out of that shell where there is talent on this roster. It's just how do you utilize that talent in the right way? And I think Coach Philbick has done a nice job so far, obviously in year one, and it's tough when you learn a whole new program, you learn all the new players, where am I going to put them, where are they going to go? I think he's done a nice job, obviously, when you start 4-0. I mean, could be 5-0 this week, and I think if they do beat Washburn Rural tonight, I think then you'd probably think Topeka High could be for real this year in terms of making a nice postseason run. But, again, when you have a lot of playmakers on this team, obviously makes things a lot more fun and winning games too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's gotten the community more excited about watching Topeka High football again. Coach Philbick was telling me he's been getting emails from alumni who graduated 50 years ago, who still live in the area, who are just excited to see their Trojans be competitive after a few years. And he's been getting messages from teachers around the hallways, but it also is setting them up for the future. No kids can join their program once the deadline passed in August or whatever. But it makes kids excited to join next year. When the sophomore sees the 4-0 football team versus the 1-8 football team, sophomore's going to be a lot excited to join as a junior.
Well, and especially being a 6A too, it might help guys not playing two-way, either playing offense and defense. Some 6As do that because obviously both, whatever player that is great on one side of the ball and two. So if they can get more numbers, I think if they continue this, they will get more numbers in their program, which will help significantly.
So they're definitely on the right track. Michaela Kelly will be at our game of the week at Humber Sports Park, live coverage in our 6 o'clock newscast, and then live in our 10 o'clock newscast during Kansas Prep Zone. You'll hear from the winning coach and get a game analysis of how it went down.
I'm excited for this one. It should be fun.
Yeah?
And it's on turf too, so.
Yeah.
Well, I will be at this one. Jeff West and Holton. Last year these teams met. Holton won 61-7. That's a pretty big high score there. Yeah. I know Jeff West. I know I talked with Coach Bowen earlier with the previews and stuff. It was hot out there for practice. I remember that one. Obviously not the start that they've wanted, 0-4. This is really senior-heavy class that he was the one that inherited them coming in. I know this is not what they've wanted and what they've hoped for so far. But again, as Katie, as you mentioned, when it doesn't matter how many games you win or how many games you lose, you're still going to make the playoffs no matter what. So if they could turn it around here with the next 4 or 5 games, hopefully they can kind of get that together. And obviously you see there Jeff West is seeking its first win over Holton since 2019. So I hope for motivated. Yeah, I hope, and this is going to be at home, and Jeff West has a very nice football field too. Yeah. That's all turf out there too. So I hope for Jeff West's sake they can get over that hump because they've been on that steady climb of winning some more games every year. This year it's not happening yet, but hopefully for them here in just a little while, it could turn around for them.
Yeah, and I think this will be a very competitive game because Holton's faced some adversity in this season. They start with a close one to Sabetha, 7-6 game. They're coming off a win, so they're starting to build that confidence again. They're on a 2-game winning streak. They start 0-2 to start the season, but when you ride in on a 2-game winning streak, you don't want to let that go. So I think this will be a competitive game on both sides.
Yeah, and Holton, we know how much they ground and pound.
They pound
the stone. 263 yards on the ground per game, which is actually kind of crazy for, a smaller school that, likes to run the ball, and that's Brooks Sparta style. Obviously played at K-State, and K-State's always about pounding the stone, as we know. So, and during this 2-game winning streak, they've outscored Royal Valley and Perry Lecompton 65-28. So the last 2 years, Holton's kind of had that slow start, but then once they kind of get their groove,
we saw that happen last year,
and they start to win ball games, and
they're competitive in the postseason.
You never have to worry about Holton necessarily. I think it's just when let them get the run game going, let them get what they need to do going, and they'll be just fine. And we've seen that since you and I have been here. The last 2 years have been a struggle, but obviously when they went to state, they were a powerhouse, as we know.
Yeah. Plus, they play Hayden next week, so they're going to want to build some confidence going into that.
Yeah, and Coach Barta told me, that Hayden's kind of been their rival once again. It kind of, dwindled off a little bit, but Hayden's been kind of that they always schedule or circle on their schedule the last couple of years. So that'll be fun one next week for sure. But I like this matchup. So if you're at Jeff West, say hi, and hopefully it won't be too hot.
And if you're at Washburn University's Yeager Stadium, say hi to our camera there tonight for Wabaunsee Care Paravel. 2 1-3 teams going at it. One's going to walk away 2-3, and when you're down, you're in a 1-3 slump. Getting to 2-3 can be a really big momentum boost.
I think so too, and I think it's cool for Care Paravel to play at Yeager. I think that'll be a fun atmosphere for them. Coming off that loss, 46-22 to Mission Valley, and they're looking for its first home 11-man football win. As we know, they were 8-man.
Yeah, that's something to remember as Care Paravel starts the season kind of slow and kind of struggling. This is their first year playing 11-man football. They've been 8-man D1 for the last however many years, and yeah, it started strong. 44-0 win over West Franklin Nuke 1.
So, and I think it's with Care Paravel too. Unfortunately, they have a couple numbers. Their numbers are down from last year. So, I think when you look at it, Michaela was the one that grabbed that preview for us and talking about, they're not worried about how many numbers they have. They have the guys that want to be able to play. Ben Roeder and Jace Pavlik are.
All you need are 11.
That's all you need. And a lot of those guys are, back and forth. So, Wabaunsee, I believe here, 1-3. Another new coach out there at Wabaunsee, Jason Canander, talked with them, and he said he loves the group's fight. He loves what he's been able to inherit, if you will, and they're willing to work. And sometimes some programs aren't like that when you get a new coach, but I think depending on who wins this game, again, will give them momentum, and obviously helps when you're 2-3 rather than 1-4.
Yep, and you get to play a pretty nice field.
Exactly. Good old Yeager, and you never know. Coach Schurig might be out there.
Never know.
Coach Schurig might be out there, so you might be.
Well, we've got quite a few games on our list for tonight that we'll also be at. Not all of these we won't be at, but we're still going to talk a little bit about all of them.
Wish we could.
Yeah, if only. Emporia is paying a visit to Manhattan for some more Centennial League play. We will have a camera there. Hayes is paying a visit to Junction City. Junction City looking to bounce back from an ugly 52-0 loss.
Yeah.
Silver Lake heading out to Baldwin. Hiawatha is at Hayden. I will be there, so say hi to me if you see me. Santa Fe Trail's going out to Wellsville, and Lebo is heading out to Burlingame, and we will be there for that.
So yeah, this one's a fun matchup, I believe.
Yeah.
Both teams are 4-0, so that should be a fun local matchup of both teams that we cover. So 4-0, obviously one wants to go to 5-0. Both of them want to go 5-0, obviously, but we'll see what happens in that one.
Yeah, and I think Hayden's got quite the momentum. That was a bit halted by their close last-minute loss at Wamego last week. Keep in mind they were playing a team, whole class bigger, that they don't typically play. That was a really good game. That was our game of the week runner-up, if you will. So I'm excited to see how Hayden bounces back this week at home.
Yeah, because that could have been a game of the week worthy and how that one ended, and great game from both teams. Mm-hmm. So we will be at Clay Center and the good old Rock Creek Mustangs. So we will show you how that game shapes out. St. Mary's and Riley County will also be there. That'll be a fun matchup between two 2A schools. That was
game of the week runner-up for us this week, and they're both kind of had hot starts to the season, so I'm excited to see how they do.
We got Shawnee Heights over at DeSoto. Highland Park 4-0 going up against a pretty solid team in Wichita East, so we'll see. I mean, Highland Park, they've not given up any points this year so far. I think if Highland Park can pull this one out,
see how the defense holds up.
Be 5-0. And then we got Pleasant Ridge over at Jackson Heights. Council Grove versus Osage City. We will be at that one as well. Both teams also 4-0 and pretty potent offenses.
Yeah, that's like game of the week runner-up.
Yeah, we had a lot. We had a lot this week, and we will have, thanks to our sister station at KWCH in Wichita, we will have the highlights of Wamego versus Buhler. So that should be a fun one. Got Rossville versus Mission Valley and good old Eskridge. I will be at Lansing and Seaman, so if you see me there, I will definitely say hello to you. Flint Hills versus Linden. We got Horton versus Riverside, and our lovely Axtell versus
winners
Wakefield.
of math 13 times 3 plus 4.
So they have 43, 44, 39, 39 and 4,
That
44.
would be 43 in a row.
43? Yeah, see, like I said, I haven't taken a math
Winners of
class.
43 straight, 3-time state champs in 8-man D2. They are paying a visit out to Wakefield, so we won't be there for that, but we will be there in the near future.
Yeah,
as still fans.
We will be. So, and I know last year we had the little Eagle mascot. Well, whoever's in the Eagle mascot, they
Has
do
a lot of energy.
They do a pretty good job.
Fantastic mascot work. And honestly, it might be a kid. I'm not sure. Whoever you are, you do great.
I will say, anytime I always give props to the mascots because when it's hot,
Yeah.
those things normally don't obviously have fans. Some of them have fans, maybe. Or
Yeah. I mean, when I went out there last year, it was a pretty cold game. It was in November. I think it was playoffs. Yeah, it was like 2 weeks before state. And even though it was halfway into the playoffs, Axtell still like just
rolled over
plowed
everybody.
right through whoever they were playing. And I remember the whole town was just so full of energy, and the mascot was just leading the way. That guy was stellar.
I just think you have to have energy to be a mascot. You got to.
But I mean, when it's cold like that, it must be pretty nice, actually. You might
In there,
you
yeah.
might be dying in August and September, but when it comes to November, you're like, haha.
Yeah, I'm nice and warm. Hey, hey, I've always thought about doing something mascot related, but I don't know if they have a costume.
Maybe that's your
that
true
fits me.
calling.
Maybe. That'd be kind of fun. Be Big
Go,
J.
go ask. Where are you going tonight, Seaman? Go ask
Seaman?
them. Go ask
Yeah.
the Viking.
I could be the Big Viking or
Yeah.
Jeff West. What's the Tiger? I could be a Tiger. That'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool. With the new mascot logo they got.
Say which fits better.
That'd be kind of fun. Well, we have, again, week 5 of high school football, which is crazy. We're already halfway through the season already. So we will have all of those highlights for you. And again, Michaela Kelly will be at our game of the week for Washburn Rural and Topeka High. So that should be a fun one. And follow along with her on social media if you already not on X, or as we know is formerly known as Twitter. So follow her if you want any game updates. And Katie should be another fun one, and hopefully we're not sweating too much.
Yeah, and stay tuned with our scoreboard on our website all throughout the night, which will be updated as whenever we get score updates, usually every quarter. And then, of course, come back for Kansas Prep Zone during the 10 o'clock news tonight. We've got highlights of 11 games and live coverage and all that fun stuff, and us.
And don't forget, if you do have your scores, please send those to us, whether it's email, Twitter, Facebook, whichever you have. Please send those to us so we can update those and give you those scores. Again, should be another fun week, Katie, and we will see everybody at 10:15, right?
Yeah. Adios.
See you later.
Where?